This is my mother's engagement ring. She died very unexpectedly in December, and we thought that she was going to pull out, to the point of, on the 26th, I still hadn't canceled my trip I was bringing my niece, and we were going to go to Harbor Island and visit Dave with his family for New Year's Eve. I still hadn't canceled my trip on the 26th. She died on the 28th. So I really went underground for about 5 months, and that's really kind of when I was editing. And I got pneumonia, very strangely, almost like her pneumonia, for 2 months out of that 5 months. And I have to say, it has left me a little crazy. I'm sure you all heard about the horrible Nicki Minaj, Mariah Carey thing. And I'm thinking to myself, that was the first time that something really awful happened that I couldn't call my mom and say, what do I do? And what I did was, I knew her so well, and she raised me so well, and she taught me so well, that I kind of knew what she would say. So I spent a whole night up. I didn't sleep that first night when all that came out, and it was all over the internet. And I could just hear my mother saying to me, rushing in to save your friend was not wrong. You have been doing that since you were 5. But the words that you used were utterly unacceptable. And so you should apologize to this girl, and she'll move on. But you should never move on from it. You should always remember to step back and take a breath before you say anything in a super emotional experience like that, because words are treacherous, and you, with your words, can really be treacherous because you're a writer. So you have to back off and think first before you jump in. And that's really what when I did the interview and put out the statement the next day, it was all coming from my mom. And I think that it's really kind of, in a way, great that that happened, because I really felt like I had a visitation from my mother. I felt, and I wear her rings, so they're always dancing on my fingers, so I feel like she's always with me because of these rings. And I wrote this thing called My Mother's Rings. I sent it to you. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I think that I don't think you ever get over it. It's like, I miss her so much. And, I'm not married. I don't have kids. I have a tiny little crazy dog that you saw in the movie who's 14. And I don't really, I have my music that I love. And what I do, Amber, is what I do is I write stuff for you. That's what I do. I have a few really good friends. I live a very cloistered life. I don't, I have Dave. But I don't have a lot outside my music and my writing. And what I had was my mother. And now that I don't have her anymore, I'm very lonely without her. So I think it's gonna take me a long, long time to get over the loss of that, because she wasn't just my mom, she was my teacher. And now I'm having to just really remember everything that she taught me, so that when I'm hit with something like what happened a couple days ago, I can get through it without having, you want to pick the phone up and she's not there. So you have to learn to get through it all now. Now it's on me. Now it's on my shoulders. So I'll handle it. But I'm very sorry that I don't have her to call to get her wise woman thing, like you have the wise women in your life. She was the last one in my life. I mean, when she died, I'm laughing, saying to my brother, well, I guess we're the old guard now. We're the ones that all the kids are all going like, are they ever going to go home so we can party? And I said, we're those people now.
Do you want to take a couple more questions?
Sure.
All right, we got a couple more questions way in the back there.
As you look around the music scene today, who do you see out there that could stand the chance of enduring and creating such a long, deep career as you have?
Honestly, they're out there, but I think, you always have to kind of say, like, well, what if we all moved to Los Angeles? What if you and Annie and Stevie and Lindsay moved to Los Angeles today? We would have a heck of a time.
Yeah.
A heck of a time walking into a record company that all the last 3 record companies, they're falling apart. The whole record company scene is falling apart. And they would look at us and say, like, who are you guys? And what is your music? Are you like country, folk, rock, Texas rockabilly? Who are you, you know? And I think that's, first of all, that's a problem. Second of all, no, the record companies don't have any money, so they can't give you any money to help you. So it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to be, deadly determined and take on your city. I think that's about as good as, that's what I would do. I would form a band, and I would stay in Los Angeles or San Francisco. I would pick a city, and I would hopefully have parents that would let us have their garage to rehearse in, or somebody. And then I would play in every place you could play, from, every coffee house, every steakhouse, every little club, every Viper room, anything you could get into, until you just keep playing so much that people finally start to see you. I'm not on the internet. I don't have a computer. I don't have a smarty phone. I don't have a phone. I just have a land phone at my house. Phone. I know you did, but I've never used it. So you know what? If I was an internet person, then I could say, well, and then this is what I do, and then I'd start making little CDs, and I'd start sending them out. But I'm not that girl, so I can't go into that world for you. But in the real world, I don't live in the virtual world. In the real world, I'd become like the best booking agent in the world, and I would book my band everywhere. And I would never stop, because I think if you want it bad enough, that's what you have to do. Because today, your chances of getting a record deal are slim to nothing, snowflake's chance in hell. And getting anybody to even notice you, or go on you go on those shows, you might even win it. Like Michael Grimm, who was just magnificent. He's having a terrible time. He's like, he can't find a sponsor to sponsor a tour. And he's so great. He's like Boz Scaggs. He's magical. He's so handsome. He's so sweet. He sings like an angel. It's like, he's having a terrible time. So I don't know. I really don't know. Because again, this man lives in the virtual world. He's totally high tech. He's totally savvy in that whole thing. He does the tweets and does the the Facebook. That I said I should have like space face. Alien space face.
No,
Not MySpace. Forget it.
No,
Facebook,
she said
forget it.
one day around our house, she said,
I
don't have my face. No, we would go MyFace. But she said, I mean MySpace. But I was just saying one thing though. There are actually record companies. I used to say what they would do, that they would sign up an artist and say, you're great, and then they say, but we want you to just go in that grey room with these guys, these hip-hop producers, and then 2 years later the poor artist would come out with a white face, and then they would drop them. So I say, they'd pick it up and drop it. And this goes on and on and on. But there's certain artists I've worked with very early in their career, and they've stuck to what they've done. And like Imogen Heap is an incredible artist. Alison Sudol, Fine Frenzy. I'm just doing this, and nobody's going to alter what I do. And they just keep doing it, and they just keep doing it. And as Stevie says, whether it's playing in your town or constantly putting stuff up, But it's a different world out there.
It's not 1975,
We just realized that on the way here.
We wish that we wish that we could all just take you, and some of you were there anyway, but we just wish that we could, right.
It was so great.
We wish we could take you all on a magical carpet trip back to 1975. When you guys were getting ready to form, and Fleetwood Mac had just started, and and the Eagles were happening, and Led Zeppelin was happening, and it was just like, it was such a romantic time. But what was really magical was that it was just such a romantic time overall. Everybody was, it was like in San Francisco. I mean, I came from here. 1966, 67, 68, 69, 70, and 71. And 3 of those years, Lindsay and I played 2 to 3 times a week, all up and down the peninsula, from all the way to Carmel, all the way to Lodi, all the way to Salt Lake City. But we didn't leave the city much. We did one tour where we went to Salt Lake City, San Diego, LA, and back to San Francisco. But, you know, we opened for Jimi Hendrix for 75,000 people. We opened a couple of times for Janis Joplin, Frosh Amphitheater, 30,000 people.
You guys have both been so generous, and I hope you can come back and share some more of these stories. But I just want to say something. You know, we always talk about here that, you know, a film to be a really good film, a great film, has, even if it's as personal as it can be, the smallest minute story has to resonate universally. And I think that's everything that you did with your collaboration in this album, in the movie, and talking about the creative process and how candid you both have been about everything. And I just think it's a tremendous gift. And I want to thank you on behalf of the whole audience.
Thank you so much.